I met him like this. One day I was in Puerto Rico. I was studying at the school, and this one of my teachers called me, and he was like, "I need you tomorrow with your vibraphone at 2 p.m. in this studio. I need
Mm.
you to record something." And I was like, "Can
You
I?
had no
Can,
idea what it was. Yeah.
no, I have no idea." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Can I have the charts, or can I practice the music before?" And he was
Uh,
like, "No way! You're my student, and you're gonna prove you have a good sight reading or not.
uh.
So if you fuck this up, you're done with me." Because that whole
Uh-huh.
real world works, right? It's
Uh-huh.
not like, oh, I'm gonna practice this for a
No.
month
They
and for
call
my
you in a moment
recital.
and that's
No,
it. You gotta go.
exactly.
Mhm.
So next day was sharp 2 p.m. sharp in there. I played the things, and the music sounded familiar for me. Like, I was like, this is like a Cheo Feliciano song, but with a different arrangement. And they were like, this is like a Ruben Blades song, but with a different arrangement. I was like, yeah, this is cool. Maybe it's a new singer
Uh-huh.
doing Ruben Blades and Cheo Feliciano
Uh-huh.
music. Maybe it's a new young singer, and his debut album, something like that. Okay, I finished. They asked me for a solo at the end of the session. Okay, in this song you're gonna play a solo, so just improvise. So I play one solo, and the guy was, oh great, and I was like, let me do one more take. Two, yeah, I'm gonna give you two takes, two different solos, and then you can choose. Then I record my second solo, and he was like, man, now I'm in trouble because both solos are
Look,
totally
sounds great. You
different,
don't know
and
which one to choose. Yeah.
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 And I was like, well, I'm delayed that you like it. I start to break down my instrument, to pack it up, and then
This time you didn't see him. You still didn't see him. You just heard the voice.
yeah, no, he wasn't even in the studio.
Oh,
I
he
was
wasn't in the
working
studio.
with the producer. I was working with
Okay.
the producer.
Okay.
The producer came, he gave me the check, he paid me. He said, okay, thank you very much. You did an wonderful, amazing work. I'm gonna call you back if I need a vibraphone. And then I asked the question. I was like, who is the artist for this thing? Because I recognize some Cho Feliciano melodies and some Ruben
Mm.
Blades melodies.
Mm.
There's at the time that I recorded, there's no voice. There's no
Mm.
voice. It's just
Okay.
the music track,
Yeah.
just the rhythm section. Who is the artist? I recognize some Cheos and Ruben Blades. And
Mm.
he was like, well, yeah, it's Cheo and Ruben Blades. And I was like, yeah, but who is singing this? And he was like, yeah, Cheo and Ruben Blades. And I was like, yeah, I know there's Cheo and Ruben Blades music, but who is this singer, the actual
Yeah.
singer of this album? And
Yeah.
he told me, Cheo Feliciano is gonna sing new arrangement of Ruben Blades' old songs, and Ruben Blades is gonna sing new arrangement of Cheo Feliciano's original
Mm.
songs. My jaw dropped. I was like,
You were shocked,
what?
huh? You were shocked.
I just record for Cheo Feliciano and Ruben Blades. They're my two musical heroes.
Yeah.
Not only mine, they're my dad's musical heroes, my
Wow.
grandfather, my
Yeah.
my uncle. I was like, I can't believe that in my wildest dreams I couldn't imagine this. So I was so happy. We're like, okay, let's see how this turns out. Then Cheo record, Ruben Blade record. They published the album. And when they published the album, the manager of
Mm.
Ruben Blades called me because he was with Cheo, with Ruben in Ruben Blades house.
Okay.
They were together, and he called me. The manager, he lives in Costa Rica, Daniel Eisenberg, the
Okay.
one that you met before.
Okay.
Daniel called me, and he told me, "Do you have a moment? I am with Ruben and Cheo here, and man, they're laughing. They're like so happy. They're laughing and listening to your solo again and again and again, and they're laughing. They're saying that they can believe that at 20 something years old it's playing like the old guys at the Palladium,
Really?
and that Joe Cuba feeling. They heard that Tito Puente feeling. They
The
heard
Fanny
all
All
that.
Star days, right?
Exactly, and they were
Mm.
like they didn't even know that there was a vibes player with all this influence, and it's 20 years old, and it's from Costa Rica, and
Mm.
they want to say that they're really thankful for
Mm.
recording this. And I was like, wait, what's happening? I can't
Can
believe
you,
that.
so surreal, right? You couldn't believe it.
And then Daniel, the manager, told me, if you ever come to New York, Ruben said that he's here for you. I look,
Mm.
okay, I'm gonna remember that.
Yeah, you're gonna take
So
him. Take
the
advantage of that before it's too late. Well, we're
exactly.
losing a lot of our legends, man. A lot of our
So
legends are going like that. You know what I'm
2 years passed. 2 years after that, I made a recording. No,
saying?
3 years. 3 years after I made that, I moved to Mexico. I
Mm-hmm.
met my wife in Mexico. We
Wow.
moved here to New York,
Mm.
and here I was, yeah, struggling, trying to have some contacts, working, doing some small gigs, working in a restaurant, in
Mm.
a hamburger restaurant in Harlem called the Harlem Shake. This is the real name,
Harlem
you know?
Shake is really called, literally called Harlem Shake.
Yeah, in the Harlem
Wow.
Shake, I was working in the kitchen
Mm.
with some immigrants, with
Mm.
some really hardworking people from Mexico, mostly from Mexico. They work like these crazy 14-hour
Long
shifts.
shifts. They don't even take breaks. They when they
Say
have lunch, when they take lunch breaks, they stand up and eat and just keep on working.
it's amazing.
Mm.
It's something that I'm really proud of seeing that and being able to experience that because I my family I'm from family of musicians, so that means that I have no money. You know what I mean? My family is I'm not the son of a famous musician or not.
Mm.
My father is a great musician,
Mm.
of course, and my grandfather they're great musician, but we are
Not a background of
yeah,
millionaires. Yeah.
we
Mm.
are a middle class family from Costa Rica. So I
Mm.
moved here by my own since I moved to Puerto Rico or like I
Mm.
moved to Mexico. I moved here to work. So I
Mm.
started to work in this restaurant. I have that experience working with really hardworking Mexican immigrants,
Mm.
and I have that experience of okay, I'm an artist, but then I have to be grounded in reality because I have to. Yeah, I can't pretend that okay, I'm an artist. I'm not gonna work. No, I was working. I was doing deliveries in a
Hey,
small
it's time to pay
bicycle
the bills, man. Mm-hmm.
in winter time,
Mm-hmm.
and even if now with coronavirus, if I have to do it again, I will do it because
Mm. Wow, you hear that? You hear
I
this, ladies and gentlemen? Grammy award-winning musician says that if he have to, there's no other option right now for income, you would do Uber deliveries if you have to.
man,
Imagine that.
I will do it. No, and I don't have any problem with that. You know why? You know why? Because I already did it, so I
Me
am not
too.
I'm not afraid of it.
Me too. I'm not either.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you never did it before, you're like, oh man, that's shameful or that's hard or that's I'm an artist. I'm not. But no, I already did it. I learned a lot of experience. I have really good friends that I made of in. I meet a lot of great friends in this situation, so I know what it is. I know what it is. That doesn't scare me at
You know
all.
what, man, Felipe? Felipe is nothing like humbling yourself because I always tell people this, even though I was raised in the United States, and you're gonna understand what I'm going to tell you right now. I have family members that live in San Jose, a little bit middle class. When my parents lived there, you could say they lived in Guadalupe at the time. It kind of my father worked on a train on a railroad station in San Jose, so he had a very good job at the time. So he was living kind of middle class. And then you got the people that live in Lamont. That
Hmm.
some people might live in a wood house with the zinc on top of the roof. A little bit more um, impoverished communities in
Yeah.
Lamont. Not everywhere, but the
Yeah.
majority.
Yeah.
And I was the guy from that would leave from United States with my brand new Nikes and my brand new Jordan sneakers,
Yeah.
looking dapper and everything, right? As a kid, because kids we wanted the Jordan sneakers and the latest clothes and everything. But when I went to Costa Rica, I didn't care if this relative lived less luxurious than I lived in the United States. If I had to sleep on the floor, I would sleep on the floor. I don't care. I did not care at all. What I cared about was the love that I was going to be given when I arrived at that location. That's the only thing I cared about. The
Yeah.
genuine love. That's all I cared about. You know what I mean? So you learn,
Definitely.
and going back to them places. Sometimes I go back, spend get a little bit spirituality and try to find myself and meditate a little bit. And when you go to the beaches in Costa Rica, when you go to these places and you go with you could go with a little bit of nothing. Leave your bank book elsewhere, or something, your credit card somewhere else, and enjoy the nature. And you get in tune with the nature, and you realize that this is what's important in life, more so than just the fancy Mercedes Benz, the Rolls Royce, and all these other things, the Rolex watch. There's so much more
Definitely.
things, and during this pandemic, I think a lot of people are starting to get more in touch with their real self. Do you agree?
Definitely, definitely, and that's something that is easy to forget in a city like New York,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a gigantic city. We don't have that. We are not in touch with that nature element, and
Capitalist
yeah,
society.
working in that restaurant at Harlem Shake helps me a lot to understand it, to learn a lot of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So I was working on this restaurant with all these hardworking, undocumented immigrants, and I was like a weird case for them because they were like, are you an artist? Are you sure? Oh shit, you're gonna be famous one day. I'm like, it's
All of them say that. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
I do this because I love it, not
Mm-hmm.
because I am not wishing to be famous, or
Mm.
I am doing this because if I don't do this, I die. I die.
Mm.
I feel like if I don't do music, or if I don't do art, it's a something is dying inside of me.
Mm. I feel the same way too.
So it's not because I wanna be in
Famous
the
or rich.
covers, yeah,
Yep.
in the covers of the
Mm.
magazines, or be an
It's self therapy, right? Isn't
influencer.
it? Isn't it
Hmm.
therapy?
It's something beautiful because you feel good, but at the same time you are sharing something
Mm.
with other people to help them feel better and feel
So,
good.
so, 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 if we're sharing something to help make other people feel better. Wouldn't it be safe to say that we're sort of like therapists, like music therapists or something?
Yeah, definitely. My dad used to say that all the time. My dad used to say that we are. My dad told me one time, one day we're gonna be as well respected as doctors, because we
Mm.
are bringing happiness, and we are bringing solutions solutions and medicine to the soul.
Wow.
So
Medicine to the
it's
soul.
yeah,
I'm going to use
it's
that. I was telling
yeah.
your father said that.
Yeah.
Tell your daddy I'm going to borrow from him. I'm going to
Okay,
borrow that
okay.
line from
I'm
him,
gonna
man.
thank you. I'm gonna tell you.
Permíteme, préstame esa línea.
Yeah,
Esa
yeah.
es muy chévere. Sí.
Take it, take it. So
Mm,
going back to the Ruben Blades story, I
mm,
was working at the time. I moved to New York. I was
mm,
working, struggling, and doing small gigs and rehearsals and everything that you can do, right? And one day I met this guy in a rehearsal, and he told me, "Hey, come to my house and let's listen music, and uh, let's talk about music because I
mm,
have a new project, and maybe we can work together." So I was trying to do the most possible contacts, and working from this,
mm.
besides my restaurant day job. So I went to his house. This guy, it's a character here in New York. He now lives in California, but he was a character here. His name is Flaco Navaja.
Okay.
Flaco Navaja.
Flaco Navaja.
Aha,
Okay.
Flaco Navaja. Aha. And
Okay.
Flaco, he's a singer, but he's an actor as well. A really
Oh.
good actor. Yeah.
Okay.
So I went to Flaco's house, and we started listening to music, and he told me, "Oh, you play the vibraphone, check out this vibes player and this and that." And then he told me, "Ben, but this is my favorite vibraphone player. Check this guy out. This guy just
Mm.
recorded this album with Cheo and Ruben. Check this out and check the solo. He's fucking amazing. Check his solo." And he plays the album that I am playing it. I record the shit. And he
Mm.
tell me, "Listen to the solo, man.
And he
This
didn't
guy
know
is
that
a
was you.
no, this guy is amazing." I was like, "Flaco, who is that guy?" And he was like, "I don't know, man. I don't know, but I love him. He's my favorite bass player right now." I like, "Flaco, that's me." And he goes, "No way. What do you mean?" I say, "Yeah, that's me. I record that 4 years ago, 3 years ago." And he was like, "But wait, you play with Ruben?" And I was like, "No, I record that. I made a recording and that's it. But I don't play in his band." But and he was like, "Man, but Ruben knows that you're here." And I was, no, I moved here like 6 months ago and working. But and he was like, Man, I was recording with him the other day because Ruben is an actor also. And Flaco told me, I was
Mm.
recording this TV show with him the other day, last week. You know what? Let me call him. And he took his phone. He was like, hello, Ruben, ¿qué estás haciendo? Hey,
Mm.
how are you? Ruben, I'm here with Felipe. Fournier. Yeah, the Vibes Premium album. Yeah, and Ruben said, Felipe? What is he doing here? Felipe, tell him to come tomorrow to my house, 5 p.m.
Wow.
sharp. I want you
Mm.
guys 5 p.m. sharp tomorrow.
Mm.
So Flaco told me, okay, tomorrow at 5 p.m. And I was again with my jaw dropped.
You couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Why? Because for a Latin American, not musician, forget about musician, for a Latin
Period.
American,
To meet somebody like that.
from people from Latin America,
Mm.
meet Ruben Blades, it's like for an American to meet Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
that big. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna meet Michael Jackson
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow. Right? I'm gonna meet Ruben Blades, and he gave us an address here in New York. He lives here in New York. He gave an address and the time.
He lives in
I
New York right now.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was there at 4 p.m. Good, doing rounds, going going around, waiting. I didn't want it to be late. And
Mm.
at 5 p.m., I was thinking like, no, this is gonna be a prank, or there's gonna be somebody telling like, no, Ruben is not here, or he's on tour. Or at
Mm.
5 p.m., he opened the door and he was like, it's cold. Come inside. What are you doing there?
Mm.
Because this was in February, in
February.
winter,
It's still snowing, cold. Yeah.
yeah. I had 1 hour and he was like, "You're here 1 hour ago. Come on inside." And the first thing this, that's what I'm saying, that this is one of the most amazing immigrant stories for me,
Mm.
because as an immigrant, you never picture something like this. First thing that I cross the door of his house, first thing that he says, he shakes my hand, and the first thing that he asked me was this: "What's your status situation with your visa?"
that's a
First
that's
thing,
what Ruben Blades is actually.
what's
Yeah.
your status situation?
Mhm.
I'm like, I have a tourist visa. I am working to have my artist visa, but I'm working on it.
Mm.
And he like, you know what? Tomorrow you're gonna start to work with me. You're gonna be the musical director of my wife project, and you're gonna have your artist visa process starting tomorrow.
Mm.
And like, what? And he turns around and he told Flaco and other Puerto Rican guy who was with us, and he was like, see, because these people, these guys from here, from New York and the States and even Puerto Rico, they don't know anything about this because they don't know they don't need visas. They
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
need,
yeah, yeah. Because he's
but
from part of the United
because
States. Yeah,
he's from Panama, so he
yeah.
told me, because these guys they don't have to worry about it. But
Mm.
I am from Panama, you're from Costa Rica, and I am an immigrant as well, and I know what is
What the feeling?
the
Yeah.
stress and the feeling of the, so I am gonna help you doing this. First thing that he told me, and I was like, wow, what is happening? And second thing that he told me, because you know what, Felipe, I'm your fan. I like it. No, no,
Mm.
wait. that
You
that's
serious?
totally, yeah, that's totally wrong. It's, I am your fan. My father
Mm.
is your fan. My grandfather is your fan. And he's like, no, stop that shit, because I'm tired of everybody telling me I am your fan, your fan. No.
He said,
I am a music lover too, and
yeah.
I am a fan of some musicians.
Mm.
The Vibraphone that you record on that album, and that
He said, no, 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 stop that
you're
shit.
you're my, yeah. He told me that, no. I am tired of this. I,
Yeah.
you are my favorite vibraphone player. For me, you are
Mm.
the number one. And I'm like, wow. And starting from there, he welcomed us in his house, and we start to talk about the music and Puerto Rico and the whole cultural context of being a Latino in the United States, and especially
Mm.
in New York. And man, we arrived at 5 p.m. and we left at 2 a.m.
Wow. You
talking,
serious?
and that was amazing.
Wow.
And starting that day, uh, he made his word. I started to work with his wife. We
Mm.
record two albums, two amazing
Two
albums
albums. Wow.
with Luba Mason. Luba Mason is an
Mm.
amazing singer and songwriter. We record two albums. We did some tours. We went and toured from in the United States. We went and toured to Europe, to Czechoslovakia.
Czechoslovakia. They
No,
like the
sorry,
music?
Sorry, so
Okay.
to no, it's not Czechoslovakia anymore. It's Republika Czeka and Slovakia.
And Slovakia.
Yeah, we
Okay.
went to Slovakia because Luba Mason has her roots in there. She's from a family of immigrants from Slovakia
That's
to the
Ruben Blade's
States.
wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we did two amazing albums,
Mm.
and that was a great experience.
Wow.
And I kept in touch with him. And the
Mm.
night that we won the Grammy, this
Mm.
the Grammy award,
Mm.
he that very same night he won the Grammy for best album. So at the end, he called me to his hotel room, and we celebrated there. And we remember when he this same story. He was telling this story to his Panamanian band.
Mm.
His band is all from Panama, and
Okay.
he was telling like, you see this guy here? He used to work in a hamburger spot, in a hamburger restaurant, and he came to my house because as a living in Costa Rica or living in Panama, and I am from there, so
Mhm.
I can relate that. You think that some Latino musician living in New York, it's like living the life. Like you are in an apartment in Fifth Avenue, and you are already rich, and you made it. And no, it's not the case. I mean, not
Not
the case
always the
for the
case, yeah.
majority. It's
Mm-hmm.
not the case. We are hard-working musicians.
Mm-hmm.
We're musicians and we're artists, and we're blessed that we have this opportunity to share this talent with the
Mm-hmm.
people. But we have to work and we have to pay the bill like any other
Yeah.
hardworking immigrant. So that's the thing that I love about my experience with Ruben, because he, after all his success and after all the fame and the recognition that he has, he is grounded, and he had that mindset that he's an immigrant as well, and
Mm.
he,
Never forget where you come from, man, and the
yeah,
struggle.
exactly,
Never forget where you
exactly,
come from.
exactly.
I know, you know, it's funny, Felipe, man. That's a terrific story right there. Amazing story, man. And sometimes United States can make you lose track if you're not careful. You got to be careful the energy you surround yourself with,
Hmm.
because I know what my own mother did to to get her status here, citizen status and everything, to make life better for me and my sister and stuff like that. So man, that's an amazing story right there. That right there is legendary story actually, on how
Thank you,
of
thank
how
you.
you met Ruben Blades. And do y'all guys plan on doing any other work in the future?
Well, we were about to start some new project, but then all the situation started. But we have some projects in el tintero, in the ink
Mm.
pot. Yeah, we have some projects with him and with Luba as well, with
Okay.
his wife. Yeah, doing something together. But yeah, right now the plans are slowing down because of.
Yeah,
But
everything is
yeah,
on point. Yeah.
but definitely we have some projects coming on.
I want to come down. I'm gonna come down there, man, after when this thing settles, man, and kick it with you and go check out your presentations and everything. I really definitely want to come check it out, man. Show you some
Yeah,
Costa Rican support and love. You know what I mean?
thank you,
I definitely want to. I'm interested, definitely.
thank
And
you.
another thing, Felipe. Let me so the group, the Mambo, the group that you with right now. We want to elaborate a little bit more about the band
So yeah,
that you're
Super Mambo.
directing.
Yeah, Super Mambo.
Super
It's my
Mando.
band. Yeah, Super Mambo. It's my band in New York. It's called Super Mambo, a vibes tribute to Tito Puente.
Titi Puente. Okay.
Yeah. So why is it called that? Because Mambo was the musical style that Puente established,
Mm-hmm.
and he is a superhero for me.
Mm-hmm.
I love superhero culture. I love comics. You can see here my bookshelf. I have a lot of comic books, and so for me, he's a real life superhero,
Mm.
and Mambo is his style. So I came up with this name, Super Mambo.
Superman though, like yeah,
Yeah,
like saying like acronym, like saying yeah, Superman, Superwoman, like
yeah,
serious
exactly.
Superman.
Yeah, yeah. So
Wow,
he's the Mambo is his style. So this is Super Mambo.
that's cool right there, man.
Uh-huh. And it's a vibes tribute to Tito Puente because this instrument right here,
Mm-hmm.
this is the vibraphone.
The Vibraphone, yeah.
Yeah, which Tito Puente is famously known as the king of timbales, king of
Mm.
Latin music, a king of timbales.
Mm.
But that was not the only instrument that he played.
Mm.
And turns out that he was a beast. He was a genius playing this instrument over here, the vibraphone.
Mm.
But that was before he was known as the king of timbales.
Would you say he was a
Especially
beast?
a beast.
A beast?
Beast. Yeah,
Como
una
bestia?
bestia. Una bestia. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man, you definitely getting used to your New York culture.
Yeah.
You picking up New York slang now. So
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to clarify that you said beast. I said, did
Exactly.
he say beast? That's something that
Yeah,
we
yeah.
use in hip hop, man. Like he's a
Yeah.
monster. He's a beast lyrically. Wow,
Yeah, yeah. No,
that's crazy, man.
he's a beast on the
Mm,
vibraphone. So he's especially in his early years, in his
mm,
early mambo recordings. So the majority of people knows him in his timbales work, but not his vibraphone works. So in
mm,
Super Mambo, we want to highlight this early years era and these vibes works of
mm,
Tito Puente, and bring it to this new era, to the new millennium with some new arrangements or some new sound, but keeping the mambo essence.
mm.
So when we start the band, we have a great reception from young people, but surprisingly, old people love it. And one of our hardcore and most loyal fan base of
Mm.
Super Mambo, it's people from 70, 80 years old that were the original crew that went to the Palladium to dance with Tito Puente. So
Mm.
when they invite us to play at their houses in Brooklyn or in Long Island, we played music, and then they start to show us all pictures of them with Tito Puente with
Mm.
black hair, and picture from 60 years ago. Imagine that.
Oh, so y'all
60
guys
years
do
ago.
private events and y'all perform private events.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Long
So,
Island and those places. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it's funny because we have a lot of young people that likes the music, but also the old crew that we have. The old people
Mm.
love it because they say that they they feel that we are honoring the tradition, and at the same time we're bringing it. We are putting some of the new
Mm.
stuff and the new ideas here.
Mhm.
And we were very fortunate. We're privileged to play, to share stage, and to have as guest musicians some of the original Tito Puente members.
You
For
serious?
yeah, for example, we had the opportunity to record and to play with Johnny Dandy Rodriguez, who used
Wow.
to be the bongo player for Tito
Mhm.
Puente. We had the honor to play and to record with Mitch Froman,
Okay.
sax player, a legendary sax player. He used to
Mm.
play with Puente. He played
Big
with Puente for
names.
25 years.
25 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I remember the first time that he heard us playing, he broke his horn and he was like, guys, can I sit in? Can I play with you guys? And I'm like, are you kidding me? You're Mitch Froman.
Mm.
You're the reason that we're playing this music. You're recording the original version of this song. Yeah, come on. And he play, and then he take the microphone. Can I say a couple of words here? And he was approaching the audience saying like, these kids, because for me they're kids, they're kids. They are playing music that I recorded 40 years ago, and they're doing with such respect that not I'm not only feel honored, but I feel that our music is in good hands. Man,
Mm.
when he said that, like
When he said
a
that, you got chills in the spine, right?
yeah,
That's like wow.
he gave us his blessing practically.
That's
So
the
it's a
highest that in publicly too. That's the
yeah.
highest blessing that you can get right there.
Yeah, so
You
we
know?
have we have opportunity to share stage with original Tito Puente musicians from his
Mm.
original band, and to bring this to a new audience. And I mean, I'm doing this because I love Puente, and for me, it's my favorite musician in history. Period.
Mm.
He's the man for me.
Mm.
Not only as a vibes player, but as a businessman, as an
Mm.
arranger, as a showman, as a entertainer.
Mm.
Period. He's my favorite musician. But then one guy told me like, you know what you're doing? It's crazy because not a lot of people it's able to be bold enough
Mm.
to stand up in New York and say, you know what, I'm going to do a tribute to Tito Puente. in New York, in El Barrio, or in Harlem, where
Mm,
this music came
mm,
from, and I never thought about it in that
mm.
way because I don't want to be bold or to be disrespectful. I am doing it because I love his music and I want to pay tribute to his music and at the same time to bring some new elements or
Mm.
some of my musical ideas to the mix. So that's a thing that resonates on me. I was like, yeah, I was not even aware that maybe I was open to get some really bad criticism or to get shredded by by
And
the
you just gotta pray through.
yeah
You're
but
on the right track.
yeah I didn't find any of that fortunately because I think that I'm doing it again. I'm doing it because I love this. I'm doing it from my heart, not because I want to get famous or because I want to get a million followers on Instagram with my picture next to the puente. No, I'm
Mm.
doing it because I really really think that he's one of our greatest musical genius of history, not only Latin American music history, not only
In
Latin
general, in period.
music, yeah, in history.
Mm.
Like, okay, we we have to study and admire and respect Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, Debussy, um, Stravinsky. But yeah, we have our musical genius also. We have Tito Puente, we have Mongo Santa Maria, we have Charlie.
Those are going to be the Beethoven, and
Hmm.
I'm very sure yourself also.
Hmm.
1,000 years from now, they're going to be speaking of persons
Yeah,
such as
exactly.
yourself.
And
Yeah. Mm.
Tito Puente, Mongo Santa Maria, Charlie Parker, John Coltrane, Dizzy Gillespie,
Johnny Coltrane.
all of
Mm.
them Latinos or black. So that
Mm-hmm.
takes us back to the beginning of our conversation
Mm-hmm.
because genius, I mean, being a genius, having a high IQ and being able to see things that other people don't see, that is not exclusive to one race.
No, not at all.
For hundreds of years, we didn't have access to meet the genius of black people and indigenous people and Latin American people, not because they don't exist, it's because they didn't have the spotlight to shine and to share their geniuses with the people. But that doesn't mean that we don't have our
They
own geniuses.
they've been created forever. It's just that they didn't have the finances to patent things and everything like that. They didn't even care about that kind of stuff. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
so 20th century
Mm.
and 21st century have shown us that there's genius in people like Charlie Parker or John Coltrane, a young black kid from North Carolina,
Mm.
or Dizzy Gillespie or Tito Puente, a
Mm.
young Latino kid from El Barrio, from the Bronx. See, so it's really really important because we are going to see this more and more and more in the figures of musical genius, like, and maybe this is controversial what I am about to say, but in my opinion, musical genius like Kendrick Lamar
Mm.
nowadays. Because when Kendrick, 1 year ago, when he won the Pulitzer award,
Yeah.
all the classical music community was offended and they were like, no, it's not possible, this is a pride, this is an award for classical music and they have their own award, they have the billboards, they have the MTV awards, they
Yeah.
have the Grammys, they have, why are you doing this? And I'm like, wait a second, have you heard that album? Have you heard the Kendrick Lamar album?
And I
that's a
bet you they didn't. And I bet you they didn't.
that's a
I bet you they
journalism
didn't.
work.
Yeah.
That's a genius piece of journalist work in the making.
Mm.
That's the history and the struggle of black American people in the United States, especially from his area. I think he's from Compton.
Yeah, Compton. Yeah.
Yeah,
California.
and that album, man, is wow, it's amazing. It's for me, it's a natural evolution of jazz music and the geniuses of black people and these franchise people in the United States.
There's another artist you should check out. His name is Roddy Rich.
I am not familiar with his work. I'm
Check
gonna
him
check it
out.
out. Yeah.
Roddy Rich was the one that he was the artist that I was telling you before we started this conversation.
Hmm.
Uh, um, he performed. He's one of many artists that has been performing these days with a live orchestra behind him.
Wow.
Remember when I
Th-
told you that's happening a lot more often? I don't have the name right here of the person that produced that idea, but you should check it out, man. You can check it out on YouTube and everything, man. And they have a lot of different A-list rappers and everything like that performing. You got Nas performed with an orchestra also, but in the background.
I'm gonna check
And
it out. I'm gonna.
man, it gave me chills. So so what you're saying with Kendrick Lamar, man, it gave me chills in my spine when I saw that, because me personally as a rap artist, I remember my first time performing with a live band, and I can say the best experience I've ever had performing live was with a live band. The
Yeah.
best experience where I can improvise. The band already know. It's like the band already know. They don't even have to rehearse that much. They already know when I'm gonna pause. They pause also. Then an instrument comes in, and then after they take the lead, and then after I follow with eight or 10 bars, 8 or 12 bars, and it's just a chemistry, man. That's like
It's
fantastic chemistry. So I can imagine what it's like playing with an orchestra. You know what I mean? With a director and everybody coordinating the event. Have you ever worked on any rap artists?
yeah. Well, in Costa Rica, I used to work with the calypso community, and then with some crossover works, and then I ended up working and doing a production, a concert, directing a Dinamita.
The male or the Nemita, what, the female?
Dinamita, yeah. I don't know
Oh, that's
if
my
you know
friend.
her.
Yeah,
Yeah, Dinamita, yeah,
the
yeah,
Nemita.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's my friend April. Yeah.
I met April, yeah,
Mhm.
Dinamita, April, Abril.
I interviewed her on the podcast also. I got an interview with her.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
great. Yeah, I wrote some arrangement for her, and we did a couple of concerts. I made a production for her with a live band
You
because
know
I
what? She
met her.
speaks of you. She speaks of you very highly. Now that I
Ah,
think about it,
oh,
I'm always
thank
hearing
you.
her. She never said your name, but she's always mentioning this guy that got the Grammys and it's tan humilde. That's very humble in Spanish to everybody listening. And I'm like, and he's just so laid back, but he's done so much, and she's always speaking of you, man. And you're that guy she was speaking about for a
Nah,
couple of years.
thank you,
Wow,
thank you. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
crazy.
And I met her again in a jazz jam session because I
Mm-hmm.
used to direct. I used to yeah, to direct and to organize these jam sessions at El Sótano
It's
in San
something I'm
Jose.
familiar with
El
it. Yeah,
Sótano every single Tuesday. That
every
was
single Tuesday.
a period of in between. I moved from Mexico to New York. I
Mm-hmm.
spent some time in Costa Rica in between, and we organized these jam sessions. So every time that I was in town, we organized this every single Tuesday. And at the beginning, there were like jazz musicians attending there, and there were jazz and blues musicians, then rock
Mm-hmm.
musicians, then
Mm-hmm.
hip hop artists, and then at when we finish the sessions, and when we have like 2 months running the session, or 3 months, there are no place. This is El Sótano is it's a place for 35 people. We
Wasn't it
used
like
to
on the
put
second floor or something?
no in the basement,
Was
in the
it? Yeah,
basement. Yeah,
it's in the basement.
the
Really?
small
I
one.
think I
Yeah,
went there one time. I can't remember. That's way after my time. Yeah.
yeah, because they have the big room in the first floor, but I like the basement because it's like a real jazz venue,
But yeah.
like a real jazz
Mm,
basement, right? So
mm,
we used to pack that place with 80, 90 people, 100 people in a place where it's supposed to have 35. That's
mm,
crazy. And all kind of artists went, and they start to improvise with us,
mm.
jazz musicians, blues, rock, and hip hop artists also, and rappers. So I met her in one of those sessions, and we ended up doing that, and I love it. That was one of my greatest
Really?
experience doing that. Yeah, and here in the States, I have some experience with also with some artists, hip hop artists. The most amazing experience that I had was in this jam sessions that I told you about before we, how do you call it, off the record,
Hmm. Yeah.
before we
Yeah.
started recording. in this place. They don't do this anymore, but there were amazing
The
hip
guy
hop
from the
jazz
Roots, right?
sessions in Arlene's Groceries
Okay.
in Lower Side, in Lower East
Was it the
Side.
guy from the Roots? Which
Ah,
one? The one
yeah,
that,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And the guy from the Roots and Lenny Rice,
Okay.
they used to organize this, and that was amazing because it was like a jam session, but without the jazz element. That was more towards
Mm.
hip hop. So you
Mm.
don't have to listen this sax solo blowing for 20 minutes. Like no,
Mm. Mm.
this is a the rappers and the hip hop artists
Mm.
and people dancing and doing some singing some hook or something like that,
Mm.
and then this bass player or sax player had 8 bars to the solo, 8 bars, and that's it. And
Mm.
then the hip hop again. So that was one of the most great experience that I was able to see and play and to be witnesses of this mix of jazz meets hip hop.
Mm. You think the millennials these days take the younger kids these days take for granted the magic that's behind these artists, the big names, the Alicia Keys, do you think they take for granted the musician that's playing the music behind all these pop songs and everything?
Yeah, but I mean, not all of them, because when we say millennials, I am technically a millennial. I don't identify as millennial at all, but
Mm,
I technically am a millennial because I was born in
mm,
1985. But I was not raised as a millennial. You
mm.
know what I mean? I was not raised like my mom never told me you can do whatever you want and you are very special. And you know, my mom was like, you do what you need to do, and if not, I am gonna hit you with la chancla. So and I see people of my same age, but here in the state, they were raised with this another millennial.
Ideology, yeah.
Yeah, with this is not wrong. It have it's has his good or positive points and the
Mm,
negative
mm,
points also.
mm.
But I don't think it's following when we say millennials. It's we have people from a lot of different mindsets and a lot of different beliefs. I think that not all of them, the majority of the millennials, maybe they take for granted that that musical genius that you said, but it's not their fault. It's the industry fault
Yeah. Mm,
because we we don't have albums anymore. This
mm.
we don't have this anymore, like a physical
I miss it.
album,
I was speaking to somebody where you can see you can read the
credits.
credits. I love reading the credits, the lyrics.
We
Who was
don't
it
did
composed by? I love that. I
exactly
love albums, man.
this thing we don't have. So we have the
Mm,
name of an artist in
mm.
Spotify, and that's it.
And
And
that's it.
it's hard to know. Okay, who is the ranger? Who is the trumpet player? Who did that amazing bass solo? Who is it? No, it's like just an artist. So it's not fault of the millennium. It's fault of
The
the
industry standards and how things are
exactly,
these days. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, Felipe, man, we had a very, very intricate conversation, man. I love it, and I could go. We're going to speak a lot more. Trust me, even behind, off the record,
thank
like
you,
you say. Um,
thank you.
I thank you very much for participating in this podcast. T.Y.S. Tell Your Story, and you truly did tell your story. And definitely, congratulations once again
Thank
on
you,
the biggest
thank you.
accolade in music that you can get, which is a Grammy, and continue and you can continuing to be a pillar in in the music industry in Costa Rica and abroad and worldwide. And I'm I hope to I'm I hope to hear from you more often. I hope to hear your work more often. Can you hear
Thank
me?
you. Yeah, no, yeah, you froze for a little bit
Yeah,
for
that's
the for the first
I
time,
think it's raining down here in Miami, so I think we have a little
but
um
we are lucky
unstable
because it's the
connection.
first time. It's the first time in the whole interview in the whole podcast, so
It's just
it's okay. Yeah,
it's too much impact, powerful impact of what
yeah,
we're talking about. That's why this is happening.
yeah.
All right. So,
Okay, thank
man,
you.
anything else you like to do? Where could people like if anyone? I say this to the other artists. Where can people find your work, your musical works?
Well, they can find me on Instagram as a at Fournier Felipe,
Mhm.
Fournier Felipe. They
How do you
can
spell that
find
for the non Spanish speaking people like
it's
or French people can't that can pronounce your
it's
name?
yeah, it's at F Fournier, Fournier Felipe. Yeah. Then
Okay.
you can check our band also, Super Mambo at Super Mambo NYC. That's SuperMambo NYC. Super
NYC.
Mambo at Super Mambo NYC. Also, you can follow our podcast Échale Semilla. That it's more complicated, but let's here we go.
Give it a try, man. Give it a
Eh,
go.
yeah, Échale Semilla is at ECHALESEMILLA at Échale Semilla podcast.
Perfect.
At Échale Semilla podcast. That's our podcast on Latin culture. Super Mambo NYC, it's my band, the Mambo and Latin Jazz tribute band to Tito Puente. And my personal account is at Fournier Felipe. Yeah.
Man, hopefully I could come check out your the orchestra live when this pandemic thing is over.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna make sure I come well dapper, well dressed, and fixed
please
up as
come
I.
here. We can you can stay here with
Okay.
us in our
Thank you very much,
apartment.
man.
You're very welcome, and take us to play in Miami when this thing
Oh
is
yeah.
over.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Trust me, I got you. Trust me. I'm gonna be doing a lot of promotion here, man.
yeah.
A lot of promotion here.
I wanna play in Calle Ocho.
You gonna
Okay.
play in Cayocho?
No, I
Oh,
want to play in Calle Ocho. Yeah,
it's gonna be done. It's gonna
yeah.
be done. Trust me.
Cool,
I'll
cool,
take care of
great,
that, man.
great.
Hey,
Thank
thank
you.
you very much, Felipe. You're very celebrated in my book, and I'm proud to have you as a fellow Costa Rican, along with the greats of Dr. Charlie Chang, Claudia Poe, and all these great people from Costa Rica.
Well, it's
And and myself as a rapper.
thank you. It's a big honor to be next to that names, and it's a big honor to be able to share all this conversation with a
Yeah.
fellow musician and artist and human being, a humble human being that wants to connect through
And unify
music
people.
with
Mhm.
yeah, to connect through music with me as an artist and with the audience as so people and sensitive people that who wants to learn and grow through the arts, and in this
We
case
need more
through
love in this
music.
world, man. We know when we talk or discuss the race panel, the race situation, discrimination. We just want to educate, and we want to bring awareness of it's not just the United States thing. It happened other places. Happens in the Latin culture. Why it happens, and because of the lack of education and the lack of the alienation of certain people because you don't know too much about that other person. So we just want to bring all this awareness, but with the thought of love, with the energy of love. You know what I mean? And
Definitely,
that's what this
definitely,
podcast is about. Definitely.
definitely. Well, thank you very much, you
Thank
Black.
you. Thank you.
It's an honor.
Likewise. T.Y.S.
Thank
podcast
you.
from Miami. It's your boy G Garby Black, and we got another one. Peace.